there are some perfect guests in the world, and she's always a perfect guest. But coming off of the women's national championship game yesterday, and we're in the middle of pro day circuits. It's the draft month. And so who better to talk about both than somebody who was with NFL Network and me and the rest of the crew for the Combine. She was at Will Levis's pro day on that front. And also in terms of talking about the national championship game, she played in one. It was the first time Oklahoma had ever made the Final Four when she helped lead them there. Her number 21 is hanging in the rafters currently at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma. Third overall pick of the 2002 WNBA draft, who also happens to be just a great human. She's from Canada. Stacey Dales back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Stacey?
Hey, what's up, Rich? Hey, guys. Great to be with you.
Hey, Stacey. What's up?
What's going on?
I mean, I thought I'd bring some Canadian heat to the conversation.
All right. So let's just jump right into it, Stacey. I'll give you the dealer's choice. You want to talk about the way the game was played or what happened towards the end of the game with Angel Reese? Which one is, leaps out to you more from yesterday?
Yeah, as a former player, Rich, it's the way the game was officiated. I mean, I love what, we can jump on Twitter and go down the rabbit hole and see everybody's takes. I love that. When these young women go to the WNBA, I hope they would be on my team. I mean, Angel Reese is phenomenal. She's a double-double machine. Caitlin Clark, the best player in the country for a reason. It's insane how good they are, and I would hope either one of them would be on my team and do what they did, and whether they're flashing fingers in front of their faces or, getting the crowd involved, you want to see it. I love it. The officiating for me was the issue.
So it just seemed to me, just from jump, it was all there was tons of whistles. I'm wondering what you were thinking as you were watching this game unfold and the fouls started piling up on all the stars in this game.
I'm literally shocked, and I tweeted that, Rich. I mean, listen, as a former player who has played in this game and knows what it takes to get to this game, to see your best players, I'm tuning in not only as a fan of women's basketball and somebody who played it, but to see these superstars. To watch Angel Reese sit on the bench because she gets 2 fouls in the first quarter is insane to me. And the second one, she made a great basketball play, deflects the ball off of an Iowa player, and it's possession up for LSU. I just... For Caitlin Clark to get 3 fouls in the first half of this basketball game, and listen, so if I'm an official, and I was a captain, Rich, on pretty much every team I played on, whether it was in college or the WNBA, you want to have conversations with officials. And if it wasn't involving me and it was a teammate, I'm walking over, I'm saying, listen, what do we need to do better here? How can we improve this? My coach is doing the same thing. For Lisa Bluter, the coach of Iowa, to come out after the game, I thought quite eloquently and say we couldn't have a conversation with these 3 officials was so shocking to me in such a huge, momentous game. We have more eyeballs than we ever have on women's basketball because of how good the basketball is and these superstars that are in the making. And I haven't even got into the technical foul. To me, I've always been a player, or I always was a player, Rich, and if I don't play now, so I can say these things. If I was still playing in the WNBA, I ain't coming on your show and saying this.
Right.
Because these officials are reffing at the professional level as well. And, Lisa Jones is a very good official. She was on this crew. She's very communicative on the floor, super even keel. She didn't actually make the technical foul call in the third quarter on Caitlin Clark. It was Spurlock Welsh, I believe. I think to say her first name is Piulani. And I don't even know where to start. If you team me up better, maybe I can get myself there. But
well, it just struck me the explanation after the game didn't make sense based on the rule that they were enforcing because there was already a delay of game penalty. It's just why are we doing this? What are we doing here? This is the championship on the line, Stacey, and again, I understand both teams had foul trouble and I guess you got to call it when you see it. I mean, we've had this conversation at the Super Bowl, coming off the Super Bowl, as you know, with James Bradbury. Do you call it when you see it? We had that San Diego State free throws towards the end of its Elite 8 contest and their winner to make the Final Four? Do you make that call? Do you not? I understand you got to call it the way you see it, but good Lord.
Okay.
That's my tee up, I guess, on it.
We're talking about discretionary calls. So I texted with a couple of officials that are active officials, basketball officials right now as soon as it happened.
Uh-huh.
Not a chance in hell they're making that technical foul call. Unless it's egregiously insulting or there is some sort of intentional physical violation with players or staff members, or like you're talking about my mama or something like that, you're not making that call. This is a discretionary decision. So I'll take it a step further, right? So Lisa Jones, I believe, was the head official, so she made the statement to justify the call, right? She referenced, I believe it was Rule 10, Section 12 in the rules book. 3, I believe I want to say the article is 3K, Rich?
Sure.
So Rule 10, if you go actually look at NCAA rules, Rule 10 is fouls and penalties. When you go specifically to Section 12, it is technical fouls. So they go to Section 12 and they cite basically that she didn't, immediately pass the ball to the nearest official after the whistle was blown after the warning 6 minutes previous.
Right.
So the previous warning was at around the 7:30 mark in the third quarter because I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, why would they give them a warning? This is ridiculous. So with just about a minute left in the third quarter, we're talking about a 9-point championship basketball game, right? The momentum has swung a little bit. Now, LSU was the better team. I thought they should have won the game, right? Iowa had the best player in the country. LSU had a better team. I thought they would win it. They did. But if you want to go down this rabbit hole, Rich, then you better scroll down the rule book about, 10 more lines to Article 4, and you know where I'm going with this, which is bench technical fouls. Okay?
Well, I mean, somebody's got to be on the bench, I guess, as opposed to on the floor. Is that where you're going on this front with Kim Mulkey?
Bench. Now, listen, Kim Mulkey's a very animated coach. She always has been. I played against her when I was at Oklahoma, and she was at Baylor. And she's always been that way. A lot of coaches coach that way. She's very animated, colorful, enigmatic. I mean, there's so many ways to describe her style on the sidelines. But if you're going down the rule book rabbit hole, then you've got to be consistent in that. And bench technical fouls under Article 4, the subheading is the head coach is responsible for the conduct and behavior of all bench personnel. Now, jump on Twitter and tell me you can't see Kim Mulkey make contact with an official, or, use some sort of body language to basically suggest that the officials are incorrect. There are a dozen under Section 4A, there are a dozen different incriminating ways in which the bench can get a technical foul. So my point being, I don't want technical fouls. I don't want coaches to get them. I don't want players to get them for dropping a basketball. When this official made that call, Rich, you go back and look, he was 10 feet away from Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Okay, so Caitlin Clark drops the ball behind her, which, by the way, spin back into the field of play if you actually watch it. She drops it to the baseline. She gets in the huddle with her team, who has just had its second-best scorer in Monica Sonano get her fourth foul. Okay? Now you've got your two best players, your two top scorers with 4 fouls. Listen, I'd rather see Caitlin Clark go up and make a basketball play to get her 4th foul and clobber somebody than in a non-intentional way, but clobber somebody to get that 4th foul, then give them a discretionary technical foul, which absolutely, even though LSU was going to win, destroyed the momentum of this basketball game with a minute to go in the third quarter in a 9-point scoring game.
Yeah,
I was blown away.
Stacey Dales here on the Rich Eisen Show. So just to revisit again the way that everything ended, do you think there? And I'll tee up on this. Do you think there's a double standard between women and men with the competitive level? That again, Joe Burrow pointed to his ring finger.
I do.
Right. So I'll give you the floor on that. I mean, go for it, Stacey.
I cover the NFL. I mean, I'm standing down there watching these men play a violent sport, and if you don't think emotions are coming out, I played against Diana Taurasi. She's the greatest competitor I've ever played against. because she had that moxie. She has that moxie. She's still playing. Like, you can't play at the highest level if you don't have some it factor. So, to say that, this stuff at the end of the game, like, why should we see women do this at 20 years old? Come on, people. It's 2023. This is really good basketball, great basketball, and let them play the game. I love it. I want to tune in to see it. And as far as the discretion between the men's and women's game, yeah. You don't think there's trash talking going on and taunting going on all the time in both realms? You're foolish. Like, this, it's real. It's good. It's competitive. And when you're in the heat of the game, it happens.
Stacey Dales, and before you just give a quick conversation about the NFL, you fouled out of your national championship game 2002 against UConn. You got fouled out in that game.
Yeah, I did, and it you'll never forget it. Like, you don't forget it, and it has nothing to do with my feelings on this particular 37 foul call game, which was a title game record.
Right.
But yeah, I did, and two of the calls, I could honestly say, Rich, they were hogwash, and like, you never want that to decide a game. Connecticut was supposed to beat us. I don't know if we're going to see a team like that ever again with Sue and Diana and Swin and all the greats that they had. They were amazing. They should have beat us and beat us good. But if I'm in the game, we still, we're a good team. I was a decent basketball player.
Yes.
Like, one of the calls in particular was a spin move to the baseline with a left-handed layup in which I got called for the charging call on a player that was coming across the lane trying to defend me. It was an and one, and it got sent the other way. It was a game-defining moment. Like, you don't forget those things, and I just hate to see a championship game like we saw yesterday in any way be involved in official determinations. I don't think the ultimate outcome of the game was, Rich, but I think to see Angel Reese on the bench in the first half and Caitlin Clark, not okay for me.
Is hogwash a four-letter word in Canada, Stacey?
It's a polite way of saying other words that I could say.
Okay, very good. Before I let you go, you are all over the pro day circuit. You are all over the field for the combine. You hear way more than you report because you are a lead pipe wielding professional. Who do you believe the Carolina Panthers have traded all the way up to one to go get, Stacey Dales?
Yeah, I think C.J. Stroud, Rich. I mean, I was at Will Levis's pro day. I saw the way they interacted with him, and there's a lot of showmanship and smoke and mirrors at this time of year, as you know. Let's not be naive to that. But I think the Carolina Panthers to send really for every quarterback, Bryce Young included, Anthony Richardson, Levis, and Stroud, and let's not forget Hendon Hooker, right?
Right.
To send, an entire onslaught of, we're talking like 10 high-ranking officials, coaches, staff members to every one of these days. They know these guys inside and out. I just think Stroud brings the size maybe they're looking for in addition to the pocket presence. If I know Frank Reich well, the head coach, in studying him over the years, based upon the reaction I saw at C.J. Stroud's pro day, I think it was pretty magnetic. But listen, we'll see. Bryce Young doesn't have a lot of error-type things in plays in college. And, it's interesting to talk to people and have them say, like, scouts around the league when I'm at these pro days, Bryce Young's workout was solid. C.J. Stroud's workout was solid. Very mistake-free, but you're getting that. Didn't have a lot of batted balls, and that's another thing from the college game that I didn't hear a lot about Bryce Young, right? Despite the size concerns and the criticisms, my dogs are going crazy here.
I love it. Stacey, you're a dog. You might love dogs more than everything else on planet Earth. I understand that about you as well.
Yeah.
So give me your favorite Anthony Richardson story that you've picked up over the last few weeks, because he could be that number one in that nobody sees coming.
Yeah. Besides the athleticism, the prowess, the physical specimen he is, I mean, he looks like a linebacker. I would just say the person he is, getting to talk to him individually, one-on-one, Rich, he is an absolute delight. The fact that he raised his younger brother, basically, with his mom, and, they bounced around and didn't have money, and his story, as he told me about his childhood, and then to become the man he is and really be not just a brother, but almost a father figure to his younger brother, who I believe is 7 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of stuff that when you're standing with somebody, you get tears in your eyes, and then you know what a team is getting in the NFL. I cannot wait to see where he gets drafted because they're getting a great one.
Stacey, you're the best. Thanks for the time. It's always a delight chatting with you. Let's maybe have you back on before the draft. We'll talk more about what's coming up in Kansas City, and thanks for your thoughts on what happened in Dallas yesterday. Appreciate it.
Love to. Thanks for having me, Rich.
The one and only Stacey Dales, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. That's what's called a perfect guest for the moment. Perfect. The first Monday here in April. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.